My name is Sami Heinonen. I'm the CEO of Netfreak. It's a virtual reality company, and actually it's one man's heroic effort to create everything exciting in terms of virtual reality, augmented reality and mixed reality. And it's a sort of a night job that it's not my main job, but instead at the daytime I work as a XR evangelist at Tieto Corporation, and there I'm helping B2B customers to understand the full potential of the VR, AR or MR capabilities, how that could help their businesses to be more flourishing. And that is my day job. So quickly about ACRONYMS. XR, extended realities, it's a kind of a high-level sentence for, or acronym for, all those three sub-levels like virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So it's totally okay to talk about just about XR thing if you are referring into any of these acronyms. And this definition by Google, the spectrum, how these realities are mapped from on the left-hand side, where's the real world, and right-hand side, where's the computer-generated real world. It slides towards the right-hand side, and augmented reality is there in the middle. And my take on this is that actually the mixed reality and augmented reality here are in the middle, and virtual reality, where everything is computer-generated, is on the right-hand side. And why I'm putting mixed reality and augmented reality like this is that mixed reality devices, to me, they mean those Googles, like headsets that you put on your face, like a Vario headset or this new one that has the all as a, I can't remember what was the name, Magic Leap. And augmented reality is more like using your mobile phone to look through that screen, and using that technique to use augmented reality. So this is my definition. You don't have to agree with this one, but this is how I put it. So is it now the time for the extended realities, meaning all those different things, and from point of B2B and B2C side, that is it really going to be, or is it already a business? So I talked about these things a year ago, and at that time company started to a little bit hesitate investing in XR capabilities because of bad ROI, return of investment. And that was the situation as the first time it passed, and people were saying that, oh no, the VR is dead again, so we need to wait X years again until it comes back. And at the same time, B2B and B2C, meaning games, they were suffering the same, that there weren't enough of headsets. The audience wasn't that big if you wanted to launch a AAA game, for example, for VR. The potential group of people you can sell this to was like very small, relatively related compared to mobile games or desktop. So the core reason, maybe what I think why it kind of failed first wave of VR, was that hype was mostly built on top of hardware. So the hardware itself was all that people were talking about, that hey, this is so cool thing, and I have so many pixels with my VR headset and and it has a motion detector and all that. But again, if you remember Nokia, for example, it was very technically magnificent company. All those products were very great from the technical point of view. But somehow that company was lost in the middle, going actually nowhere, because they weren't listening to customers, that what they want to, where they are going to use that device for or to. And it wasn't user driven, it was hardware driven. So it is the time to create business with these magnificent different capabilities, new ones. Because all the time people understood that it's not hardware. The key, the success is to understand the core need of the customer, what she or he wants, what he or she needs in order to work, do his job or daily activities with hobby or something. And that means that as a kind of a developer, you need to do prototypes. You need to test all the time with real people. You need to iterate and then test again. I do that many times. And of course get some great ideas from top-notch people, but always the kind of a customer is the king, that if you're trying or about to sell this product for someone, he or she needs to have a kind of real reason to want it. So in other words, to tackle this problem, this very old problem from any different digital platform, for example web, so it means that you need to do service design. So learn how to do service design and case closed. Not precisely, but I mean that they within the service design there's a term of a double diamond, and if you follow those rules, what needs to be done first, and then you scope down those findings, and then you try out it into a prototype, it leads you to the successful end result of your project or product design process. So to put it short, creating content for XR capabilities is like creating services on any other digital or real-life platforms. With real-life platforms, I mean that you can use service design for example, creating new grocery store setup or process how you go to how people are taking you when you come to, for example, to see doctor, what different phases there needs to be like. So the whole flow goes very fluently. So that is where service design is helping. Okay, so when I do this stuff, my tools, I use Unreal Engine. Unity is great, but somehow I fell in love with Unreal Engine a couple of years ago, so I've been using that ever since. And I'm using Autodesk Fusion 360. I'm very much using Blender still, and not going to stop that. It's a great open source tool to do 3D modeling. I'm using all those different Adobe products like Photoshop and Premiere and etc. And I'm using actually GarageBand to create own music for different videos or games. That saves me lots of time and money to create some background music. Of course, not that great, but anyway, it's a better than nothing. And when I have some audio effects, I use Audio CD to modify those. My sources of elements or the media, DubeSquid is the first one that if I need to quickly do some prototype of something, I usually first go to DubeSquid and try to find a affordable 3D object of that. And then I go to Boom Library and try to find required sound effects like ambience or something. And sometimes customers, they have their own models that they want to work with. So let's briefly go through different cases. Some of them are business related, some of them are more like a study or learning purposes and development. So the first one is the Honda wanted to promote here in Finland their Honda CBR, and we with the same company, the same parent company, we 1 year earlier we created a Terhi boat simulator where we integrated the steering wheel to real boat. So they wanted to do the same trick with a actually motorcycle. And what we did was we again went to a shop and purchased a Logitech steering wheel, and we disabled the whole thing, break it apart, and then we integrated that and rewired the Honda CBR wirings to this Logitech steering wheel, including brake, acceleration, and gearbox. And the steering itself was captured using a vibe tracker and we attached that on the front wheel. And for that purpose, we needed some racetrack, so we used one Finnish one, and a little bit about KYMIRING later on. But this is a early phases when we generated this whole thing. This is still at the Honda premises in Vantaa. So we did some real hardcore customization. As you can see, it's not that pretty. And there on the floor you can see the Logitech, that is actually pedal of 3 different pedals. Yeah, it has 3 pedals, and we stripped all the plastic parts away and we rewired all those things to real motorcycle cables. This, for example, if I remember right, this is actually brake. Yeah. Finally we get everything ready, and we have this kind of a podium where we had the motorcycle. The one downside of this was that usually when you drive a bike, you don't actually steer a bike. You actually lean on right or left side, and then the bike goes other way. So we didn't have time to implement that kind of thing. So we had to just like tell people that steer that bike, and that was a little bit strange. But this is a actual event at the Messukeskus in Helsinki. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, next we needed to have that track. So at that time, and still there is a racetrack called as KYMIRING under construction in Finland. And we asked from the company that can we have the basic 3D model of the track. And the architecture company Sankarit, they kindly provide us the 3D model of the track, and then we modified it with the textures and plants and trees and sun and all that lighting. And then we placed our Honda CBR Unreal motorcycle on top of that. And it was kind of a joint effort with KYMIRING, and it was a great marketing stunt. It really worked, because at the same time we promoted Honda CBR and the KYMIRING, that is very well-known project here in Finland. All right. So next one is I created a couple years ago a service called as a puskaradio.com. It was a kind of a location sharing tool for people using Android or iPhones, originally Nokia phones. And because of that background, I wanted to try out what if I create the almost same kind of thing with a Unreal Engine using augmented reality and combine GPS data with the augmented reality. So here it is. So next one, I wanted to integrate AI somehow to virtual reality, and the good starting point was to try to integrate Google Assistant to the virtual reality. And in order to create a custom Google Assistant flows, we used a Dialogflow. It's a company owned by Google nowadays. So we implemented custom speech services. And this demo interacts with the Google Assistant that was running on iPhone actually, with the game and my own server. So actually, when I talked to the application, it actually talked to the server, and the server was talking with the Google platform, and then the kind of a response from Google platform was given back to the server, and then the server served that data to the game. So the game didn't actually talk directly with the Google platform. Okay, and this is a console, how you create those different flows of speech or comments.
Tell me distance.
Move forward 100 meters.
Move 100 over. Executing your orders now.
Move backwards 80 meters.
Tell me distance.
Move forward 200 meters.
Move 200 over. Executing your orders now.
Move forward 800 meters.
Move 800 for Merck. Executing your orders now.
Move backwards 1,000 meters.
Move 1,000 backwards. Executing your orders now.
Okay. As mentioned earlier, before, we did this theory experience a year ago at the Helsinki International Boat Show 2017. And Silver is one brand of the same company, and they want to have their own this year. And there was actually a new Silver model coming already. And last year, we had an opportunity to get this model and set up a test trial for retailers all around from Finland. So they had the possibility to drive actually that boat half a year before there was a public launch planned. And that event actually provided very valuable feedback from customers related to materials and usability, all that stuff. And as they didn't have a kind of physical product yet, it was very easy and cheap to do those modifications on 3D model. So that was great. All right. Helsinki, city of Helsinki. There's a very good open source of Helsinki 3D models. They have mapped the whole Helsinki, and those mesh clouds are freely available. And the whole city of Helsinki consists of multiple OBJ elements, and the texture on top of that is a real photo of the same place with very accurate level, like in Google Maps. So I download most of the downtown Helsinki blocks and create a VR flying experience, and that can be used for training or city design or whatnot. Okay, the next one, still flying. I was very interested of flying dynamics, how to create those, and I went to the DuboSquid and I passed the FA-18 Hornet from the DuboSquid. That was totally static, wasn't rigged. So based on that, I created a Marvel airplane with lots of logic inside, and of course create enemies, terrain, airfield, and all that stuff. And it was pure fun, and maybe I should like finish it and put it on sale, but this is what it is currently.
Warning, warning.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Okay, construction site. Our original idea was to create training playground for construction companies, how you should behave when you're there as a kind of a new guy, not knowing much about the rules and regulations. Hopefully you should, but nevertheless. And maybe how you should use, for example, power drill and all the stuff. I also created a crane that you can lift stuff from very high altitude. And again, here I use the City of Helsinki 3D data. I happen to live actually a couple blocks, maybe actually one block away from the site, and it's really close to me. So I wanted to create a construction site virtual reality experience, and this is how it is. Okay. Next one is a augmented reality skeleton shooter. It's a kind of a proof of concept how to integrate Unreal Engine and Apple AR kit and create a AR shooter. And this runs on top of an iPad Pro. Okay. Thank you. Over here in Finland, we have lots of marine industry, huge companies creating boats and machines and all that digital stuff on board. And inspired of that fact, I created a tanker, virtual reality experience, and a Marvel ship. Of course, if you steer your boat that happens to be a tanker, it's rather slow. It's quite slow actually. But we with my friends, we had the idea to do what if in the future we could integrate into this one real data from real ship, for example, in RAM, and this could be used for training and product development purposes.
Computer services, West African.
All right. Yet another FPS shooter. A couple of years ago, I created, as a kind of almost my first VR project, I created a game called as Rapid Retaliation, and I launched that on HTC's own game platform. I can't remember the name of the platform, but nevertheless, it was launched in China. And I wanted to, a couple of months ago, I wanted to fully rewrite the game, how to do a proper VR shooter, meaning that the weapon itself, all those parts, bits and parts inside the weapon are working and moving back and forth as they should. The sounds are carefully selected, and there are buttons. And the point was just to have fun, and this is how it looks like.
2, 3, 4 out, 2, 1, 0. Red, east 5.
Alright, that's about it. Thank you for watching this, and if you want to reach me out, you can always email. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/NetfreakVR. So thank you.